This is Joe Castello's WFO Radio Ignition, covering everything that has wheels, an engine, and a driver.
The reason I race is to get the chicks. You know what I mean?
NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, sports cars, and NHRA drag racing.
Hey guys, just want to let you know, WFO rocks.
WFO Radio is total motorsports.
It's just so cool.
Fasten your seatbelts, fire up the ignition, and drop the hammer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's your host, Joe Castello.
WFO, what's up, everybody? WFO on the road out here in Brainerd, Minnesota. Getting ready for the Lucas Oil Nationals here in Brainerd, and everybody is fired up. I just got back from the racetrack, but WFO Radio Ignition is on the air, and I just want to say what's up to the podcast audience. I'm out on the road, which means Gio in Miami is back in the mothership, and great stuff going on. What's up, Gio? How you doing?
All is well in the Southern Front.
Oh, so great, so great. Yeah, I was up early this morning, flew to Dallas-Fort Worth, and then to Minneapolis, and then it's about a 2-hour and 40-minute drive from Minneapolis to Brainerd, actually staying in Baxter. And good stuff, man. There's not a lot else going on up here. I went over to the racetrack. We had our customer race where we take VIPs from various sponsors and throw them in equally prepared Toyota Camrys and let them race down the racetrack. It was a whole lot of fun. And then tomorrow, Hardcore Thursday out here at this event. Going to be very interesting. But not too much going on to get together for a little WFO Ignition. So much going on. Had Cruz Pedregon on NHRA Nitro. If you haven't heard that, definitely add it to your list of things to do. Cruz is fired up about going back to quarter mile, says he wants to do it. He's super excited. Dr. Phil Surface was on NHRA Nitro. Brian Wagner was on NHRA Nitro. Alan Reinhardt. It was a great show. Very cool. And we had Cruz Pedregon and John Force on back-to-back weeks. That is pretty impressive. But the Ignition shows have been doing pretty well, Gio, since we kind of have been we've been putting more effort in. The numbers have been pretty good. The listenership has been pretty good. People are fired up. They're all tweeting photographs of their new WFO Radio T-shirts, the 10th anniversary podcast shirt that's available at nitrofish.com, nitrofishracing.com, and the Nitrofish trailer out at the racetrack. It is very cool. But we're going to dive into it, man. Kevin Harvick picking up the win. Harvick, how about that? Now, I watched a lot of the race, and I got to say, I felt like Joey Logano was going to be the guy, but in the end, he had to stop, and Harvick didn't, and that was it. Harvick wins. Cue the cuteness.
Are you talking about Keelan running down pit road and jumping into Dad's car without any safety equipment, doing a burnout?
Yes. You know, it's interesting. Like we talked about Tom Brady throwing his kid into the water a couple of weeks ago. And this is another one. Dragged her unwillingly down into the water across the rocks. And here Kevin Harvick puts the kid in the car and does a burnout. Of the two, if I have to choose, like which is less safe, I'm going with the rock jumping. Less safe. I think Keelan is Keelan. What's his name? Keelan?
I believe it's Keelan.
Not Keenan, like Keenan Ivory Wayans?
No, like Keelan.
Keelan, right. But he is way safer in that race car than Tom Brady's kid is jumping over rocks. Just saying.
I don't know if she was jumping over rocks, but jumping off a rock would be more like it.
Jumping on a rock, jumping over a rock, being forced against her will to do dangerous stuff. At least Keelan,
I guess, but if the car blows up, then, then they're both SOL.
No, they would have been fine. That thing can blow up, and they'll just get out. No big deal. No harm, no foul.
Well, his dad made him put his fingers in his ears to cover his ears,
Well, I'm sure it is very, very loud in the car. That is one thing, especially for a little boy. But in the end, Kevin Harvick picks up the win. Denny Hamlin second. Kyle Larson third. This weekend, the Bristol night race. We've got Indy from Pocono. Of course, NHRA drag racing here at BIR, Brainerd International Raceway. A whole lot going on. Formula One is still off. We'll get into SportsCollision. We'll talk a little sports. We'll talk a little everything, and it's going to be a rapid fire show. I want to remind everybody we got great sponsors. We welcomed Total Seal Piston Rings as the sponsor of the NHRA Nitro show. Last night on the show, Total Seal, based in Phoenix, Arizona, make best in the business piston rings for all applications, custom, one-off, or otherwise. You just got to give them a call. And big thanks to Matt Hartford for stepping up to support WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro, and, of course, the added value that is WFO Radio Ignition. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure, FrankHawley.com, Rodax, CoffeeAndGrills.com. First time ever, Giovanni rejecting the Rodax. What's up with that? Just because it was 8 hours old?
No, because it was 2 hours after I texted you, and I'm not going to drink coffee at this time. I don't want to stay up all night. I do have to get a few hours sleep. So about 3 hours ago when I texted you, I was willing to drink coffee, but then when you responded about 10 minutes ago, it was past my coffee time.
No excuse. Listen, so what happened was this morning I woke up at like 4 a.m., okay? And, 4 a.m. to get to the airport by 6, to be ready for a flight at 7 and change, to get to Dallas, to get to here in time to do all the stuff that I just mentioned, the 3-hour drive, et cetera. And, in the morning, I needed a little pick-me-up. So I'll go to the coffee maker, I fire up a little Rodax, and I had just enough to get things moving. And there was some extra, so I put it in the refrigerator, for Gio. 14 hours later, maybe he wants to dive into it. But that's how good Rodax is that he was ready, and it's still ready to go. Rodax, CoffeeAndGrills.com. Check out Marvin Rodak. Samtech.com, that's totally wrong. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. Become a high-performance engine builder or machinist at samtech.edu. MagicDryUS.com, the official organic absorbent of the National Hot Rod Association. Hangstifer's Metalworking Lubricants, Hussey Performance, .net, Quality Copper Head Gaskets, everybody that's stepping up, Drag Racing Edge, EV3, stepping up to support WFO Radio. Is there anybody that I did not mention, Giovanni? Like, you got the list right there, and these people are so great to us. Maybe you want to throw an additional name on the board, but I feel like I got everybody, and that are great sponsors who step up and support WFO Radio and NHRA Nitro in this podcast. And, I feel bad sometimes at the very start of WFO. We spent a couple of minutes talking about the sponsors before we get into Alan Reinhardt or John Force, whoever the guest is going to be. But in the end, they really make it possible. And so hopefully you guys as the listeners, you understand. And the second you need piston rings or quality copper head gaskets or coffee or hot sauce, or you want to do something really cool for the holidays, you call Frank Hawley, Sam Tech. These sponsors, they are in your mind. And when you need them, you call them because they make WFO Radio possible. All right, let's keep going. Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, top 3 in this race. But what did Kevin Harvick have to say about the whole deal? Led 22 laps. Let's hear what Kevin Harvick had to say.
I think as I've been fortunate to come here through the years, I think our guys on our team would probably tell you the same thing. We probably feel like we should have won just about every race we've come to since I've been at Stewart-Haas Racing when we've come to Michigan, and just one thing or another, and it seems like we've definitely got over that hurdle as we've run the last couple of years and been to victory lane. So it's been a racetrack, and it falls right into especially into the Ford wheelhouse from the engine standpoint, and our guys do a great job from a detail standpoint and just getting every possible thing out of the car that they can, and this is one of those weekends where they kind of turn you loose from the engine side and the oil side and attitude of the car. I mean, everybody wants to do well for their manufacturer here, and we've been fortunate to have a lot of fast cars.
Ford has really always dominated Michigan, or at least more often than not. Remember back in the day when Jack Roush had that place.
Greg Biffle, the lock, when we were in Vegas.
Yeah, a 6-1 shot. Remember that? We couldn't find a casino to take the action that was nearby. The nearest one was like Sahara. And it was like, oh my gosh, do we really want to go to Sahara? Are we in the mood to go to Sahara? And I had $100 I was going to drop on Greg Biffle at 6-1. I knew it was a mortal lock and didn't do it. And it was a mortal lock. Say it would have been $600, brother. That would have been half the trip right there back in the day.
Absolutely. But What are you going to do? Whatever was going on of drinking and partying that night was better than having to run to find a a casino. Because unfortunately, where we were staying at had a sports book, but they didn't take NASCAR wages.
That's exactly it. And that was prior. That was prior to us knowing about William Hill, the home of betting,
or what it used to be called back then.
Leroy's.
Yeah, Leroy's Horse and Sport.
Leroy's Horse and Sport. Remember that?
Of course I do. We still call it that every now and again.
Oh, I know. So here's the rest of the results for Michigan International Speedway. Kyle Larson, 3rd. Martin Truex Jr., 4th. Daniel Suarez, 5th. Kyle Busch, 6th. Ryan Preece, 7th. William Lord Byron, 8th. Chase Elliott, 9th. Alex Bowman, the Showman, 10th. Ty Dillon, 11th. Ryan Newman, 12th. Austin Dillon, 13th. Chris Buescher, Paul Menard, David Reagan, Joey Logano, who had to stop, 17th. 18th, Eric Jones. 19th, Brad Keselowski. Matty D, 20th. I hear Matty D is losing his ride.
That's what the rumor mill says. He's not expected back. Looks like either Eric Jones or Chris Bell are going to be in that car.
Yeah. If that is in fact the case, then I understand that Chris Bell is a uber talent and they want to give this guy a big opportunity. Supposedly he is going to be, the man, and Toyota has got everything behind him, etc. But Matt DiBenedetto should get an opportunity, an opportunity in a decent car. I think he's performed pretty well. Now, don't get me wrong. If Chris Bell goes out there and starts winning races left and right, then maybe I'll moderate my opinion. But until that happens, I think Matty D is doing a good job in that car. 21st, Corey LaJoie, then Michael McDowell, Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Matt Tiff, Daniel Hemrick, Bubba Wallace, who I guess is getting the tattoo. I woke up the other day to a video of Bubba going to get prepped for the tattoo. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ross Chastain, Landon Castle, Quinhoff, Austin Theroux, Eric Almirola, Jimmy Johnson, Garrett Smithley. Garrett Smithley, bud. That's our buddy from down there at Homestead Miami Speedway. And his grandmother always hangs out with us down there in the Sprint Vision fan zone place. Cody Ware, Clint Boyer, and Spencer Boyd. Clint Boyer not looking too good. Not a whole lot of races remaining. Clint Boyer having kind of a tough go of it. Did you see that tweet with Clint Boyer's points finishes?
Yeah, no, he has not been running well. And Jimmy had a rough day also. I believe Boyer, well, actually, Boyer's in 16th right now, and now Suarez and Jimmy are battling to get right behind him for 17 and 18.
Amazing. It's not easy. It's very interesting to see, but Jimmy Johnson and a lot of guys that were expected to do a lot of great things.
Well,
have not done great things.
Quickly, Newman is 15th with 10 points ahead of Boyer, and who's 16th. Suarez is 17th, 6 points behind Boyer, and Johnson is 6 points behind Suarez. After that, there's a little bit of a gap, 41 points to Paul Menard. So I would say really right now it's Newman, Boyer, Suarez, and Johnson, about 22 points apart, to 4 guys battling for the last 2 spots, barring anyone beneath them winning a race.
Right.
And pushing everyone down.
And now you're in that time where, anyone down there can win a race and fill the field. But you're right. Clint Boyer, Daniel Suarez, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Newman. Those are the guys that are fighting for the last couple of spots. Eric Jones is plus 70, Ryan Newman could fall out of that 15th spot in a couple races very, very easily. But we'll see. We'll see who all goes on and who will end up in the final championship race at Homestead Miami Speedway. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, it's we discussed it a couple weeks ago. It's go time now. All that's left is Bristol this weekend, and then Darlington and Indy.
It's going to be very exciting. Muy exciting.
Oh, there's another off week. I just realized that looking at the schedule.
Oh, yeah? When's
Bristol, and then there's an off week. Bristol's August 17, and then the next race is not till Southern 500, September 1st. So that's a 2-week between that. I don't know. I guess maybe that's building in an off week just in case there's a rain out in one of the first races or something, and you never know that they might have to go back or who knows. But
right.
Yeah, they're built in another off week in the schedule there right before the playoffs.
The thing I like about Michigan is it's fast. I like the fast racing. I thought the racing was exciting. You know, we've been critiquing the package a little bit. I haven't got to watch all the races, but this one I got to watch and enjoy. And I think the racing and the battling and the passing and the multiple cars and multiple grooves has actually been working out pretty well for them. I think that they are hitting on something, and they need to just let it go the way it is right now because it is visually stimulating, which that is cool. Fantasy League, Team English picking up the win, 346. That's Mike English. Over Tom Inc., 334. Easy E009, 332. Elephant Racers, 328. Barbecue Bob, 302. WFO Joe, that's me, baby. Ahead of Bulls Wool, who just got his tickets for the U.S. Nationals. He's ready.
Way to go, Bulls Wool. Man, that's a long flight.
Yeah. Fleet Tree, 291. Willie B Racing, 288. Mr. Fantasy NASCAR, 287. Tied with Sacramento Racing Fan. Talking fantasy.
I do notice the scores are kind of low compared to the winning score from last week.
That's true, but nobody cares about that because that's old news. Most points, Team English, 346, up 5 positions. Tom Inc., 334, up 7. He's the biggest gainer. Smothered and covered. Yeah, I totally heard that. I don't know about everybody else, but I did.
Yeah, no one else could hear the stuff. I don't know how you're hearing it.
No, man, I don't know. Like, I heard it plain as day.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The biggest losers, Smothered and Covered and Moneyman, 208, 142, both down 5 positions. Wow. The biggest loser is only down 5 positions. That's telling you something about where things at. The overall leader is Steve the Trucker, a.k.a. I Can See Her Almirolas. We received 50 more emails, and they all say, no, you cannot change your name if you win. You have to be I Can See Her Almirolas on the placard.
But I do notice that he did come back to the field a little there. Just last week we were mentioning how mostly everyone had fallen wayside, and there was only a couple of guys really a 3-horse race. But now it appears that the top 7 is all within 200 points.
Jambalaya J Racing is second. Bulls Wool, 107. Do we have any international participants on the trophy?
Not that I know of.
You know what I mean? Like someone from outside?
I understand what you are saying.
You understand what I mean when I say international? That would be kind of cool if someone from down under won and then it becomes a worldwide trophy. Wow, that would be interesting. Bulls Wool only 107 behind. Patrick the Webmaster, despite the struggle and strife, 109 back in 4th. It would mean a lot to Patrick, too, if he could be on there. Patrick better pay attention, bro. It's Bugmarn, 166 in 5th. Royal Flush Racing, 7th. Tom Inc. Royal Flush is in 6th. Tom Inc. is in 7th. Mr. Fantasy NASCAR is in 8th. Southern Racer X is 9th. And Craig and Newhall is 10th. Southern Racer X and Stubo. They got
their shirts. I saw the
they
T-shirts.
Got their shirts.
They ordered like a half dozen or something, man. Way to go. Keep it on. Order early and often, people.
Yeah, what he said, people. Go to Nitro Fish Racing. Here's the thing, okay? Not to interject our deal. We've got these wonderful sponsors who do all kinds of things. You know, the holidays are coming. Frank Hawley, Marvin Rodak. If you're an engine builder, Hussey Performance, Total Seal Gaskets. If you want to get an education and be in racing, samtech.edu, etc. If you get a shop, Magic Dry. We have, and Hangstifer's Metalworking Lubricants. We have commercials and spots and sponsors from all different realms of the automotive world, right? It could be anything. But, not everybody needs or wants and everything at any one time. Rocking a WFO radio T-shirt is something you can do every weekend. And most importantly, it's a great way to promote the show. Hey, man, that shirt's cool. What is it? That's WFO Radio Podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Check it out. And that's what they're doing. And Stubo and Southern Racer X, just unbelievable with the way they are promoting. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Craig and Newhall, 10th. Rich and Saugus, 11th. Smothered and Covered, 12th. El Jefe, 13th. Elephant Racers, 14th. Hockey Kid, 15th. Hockey Kid having his greatest year ever. Right behind Dan, Elephant Racers. And Stubo, 16th. All right, now let's do them on the 5s. 20th, Dirty Hippies, up and down 0 positions, just hanging tough behind car 24 fan and head of driving hard. 25th, Miller Man. What's up, Miller Man? Down 4. Ooh, plummet. 30th, WFO Joe, up 3 positions. I have now surpassed last year's champion, as predicted. And next in my sights, Little Low. Did you see the photos of Little Low and Mrs. Lowe and the whole family?
No.
Oh, there was another competition. Great little family. Super cool. Little Low, WFO Joe, and Los Chincones in a 3-car breakaway. 29th, 30th, 31st. 35th, Highline Real Fine, just ahead of A26 guy. 40th, Double O Dead On, behind JJ Husker Fan and Team English, and ahead of SRX Racing. And Gio in Miami, 42nd. Gio, you're climbing up a little bit. You had that one huge week. That's all that happened. Huge week.
Look, I'm up another 2 spots. No, even the huge week, I was only up like 3 or 4 spots. It's very difficult when you're this far back to make spots up, apparently.
So true.
I was in the 50s, borderline 60s, so I have made a decent little run. I'm trying to get my stuff together make a playoff run.
Yeah, then you'll end up finishing 3rd. You'll skyrocket.
Another top 5 finish, but never win. Always the bridesmaid.
Tennessee Money Man, 45th, 50th, Hockey Dad. What's up, Hockey Dad? Hopefully you guys are doing great. And where's Team Gray, man? What's up with Team Gray?
Well, he actually changed his team about 2 weeks ago, and because all of his starters were pretty much used up. But he's 54th from what I see here, just holding steady.
0 positions. He did not gain. He did not lose.
He does look like he can catch a few there, though. He's only, if he were to make up, say, 100 points, he'd get up to 50th. So
absolutely, he could finish ahead of Hockey Dad. He's got to go. He could catch you still. You got to help him, man.
I'm not helping him.
Yeah, there you go.
I already help him too much.
Mean person.
Oh, look, when it comes to competition, he's on his own. I guide him through life. I try to give him lessons learned, which he doesn't learn, but I've learned, and wisdom. I don't know. But I'm not, when it comes to anything that involves, some kind of competition, he's on his own. I'm not letting him win, and I will beat him down because he's a sore loser.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Sore loser.
Actually, he's kind of like a cheater, too, so.
Is he?
Not, like on board games or little things like that. He's constantly trying to weasel his way and cheat. But no, in regular games, you really can't cheat much, but.
Operating in the gray area is what we call it.
Yeah, no pun intended.
There it is. Dun-dun-dun. See, what do you mean? You know, the kid Gray, he's going to operate in the gray at all times. You know that.
Well, as long as he doesn't show up with a car that's 1/8 the size.
Right, exactly. So this weekend we've got IndyCar at Pocono, which I think is interesting because it's very fast. It's like a 3-cornered Indy almost. But the Bristol Night Race, I'm very interested. You remember, it was this year that Bristol in the spring was so empty that it basically was the bellwether of the death of motorsports in general. It was
the equivalent of a Marlins baseball game.
It was a ghost town. It was everybody was disguised as an empty seat.
Actually, as a bleacher, because I don't believe they have seats.
It was amazing how everybody had the same clothing on, disguised as empty bleachers. But I'll be very interested to see, okay, the economy. All right, the economy was doing great, but now I guess it's not anymore as of today. But it should not affect Bristol Saturday night, okay?
Right. Anybody going should have had their tickets by now.
They should have had their tickets by now. You cannot use the, whatever is happening in the economy as your excuse. I'm sorry. You just can't. It's the Bristol Night Race. The racing has been exciting. The season has been exciting. You've got all these different winners. You got a lot of interesting stuff going on. You live somewhere near Bristol, but you're not going to go. You know why? I don't get it, man. We'll see. Now, do I expect it to be a sellout? Nah, it doesn't have to be a sellout. But it's a big place, 160,000. But it should be a strong crowd. Come on, people, go back. What are you so bitter about NASCAR? I don't get it. And I don't mean our audience. I'm just talking about the people out there who are the old school NASCAR fans. It's time to go back and enjoy it once again. That's my opinion.
I agree. I think the racing on TV has been very good. I don't know what to say. I understand that people have to, figure out their entertainment budget, but if you're in that area and you're a race fan, I don't see why there's really no reason why you shouldn't go. Buy the cheapest ticket and then go sit wherever you want.
Right.
That's what we do here when we want to go watch a baseball game. I would go on StubHub, get about 4 of those $12 tickets, and I end up spending more money on parking than I did for the tickets.
Well, absolutely.
And then we get to pick our seats wherever we want.
And you move around as best as you can. Exactly. There's an art form to that. The other day, I brought, speaking of working in the gray areas, our great friend Sports Radio Vlad sent me a text message that said, do I want tickets to Monster Jam? And I was immediately like, yeah, I want tickets to Monster Jam. I didn't even know I was free or fair. I didn't know if I could go. But get me the tickets and then I'll sort it out. So as it turns out, Saturday afternoon, me and Gio's son, the Gray, went to Monster Jam at the BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida, where the Florida Panthers play. Typically the place where I go to the big rock show with Paulie the White Guy and that kind of stuff. But we go to Monster Jam. Now, initially, I thought Monster Jam was down at Marlins Park again, or I don't know where I thought it was going to be. I just didn't think, right? And when I found out it was at the indoor arena, I was a little disappointed. Like, oh, man, that's going to stink. Because, they can't go very fast and they can't get up to speed and it's not going to be as cool. And so we went over there, got the free tickets. We had vouchers for any show. Get in free. So we're in the nosebleed section, but they were good seats. Like, you could see everything. They were good. And you didn't get dirty with all the dirt, the clay that they put over the ice in the arena. When the trucks are doing donuts, that stuff is flying into the stands and there's a cloud. And you could see the cloud like going all over people. And so we had really good seats and we enjoyed it. But that's not what I'm telling you the story for. I'm telling you the story for this reason. Man, I dropped like $300 like with the free tickets. They're making money no matter what, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you let the people in for free, and the people are going to have a couple of beer, and then they're going to have a couple more beer. Me and Gray, we're having beer, hope you don't mind. And, get them popcorn, $10, Max D toy, $30. Like, next thing you know, man, I'm into Monster Jam for, I don't know what it was. I wasn't really keeping score, but a significant amount of money. And the point is, so if you got to play the game and get the cheapest ticket to get in the door, play the game because they're going to get you anyway. That's all.
I couldn't agree more. Especially if you take the kiddies, you got to buy them the toy, the shirt, the food, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, and that's the area that, because people say it about NHRA, people say it about everything, right? That the rent is too damn high. The tickets are too expensive, and they always say that. People tell me all the time, oh, they need to lower the ticket prices. And I'm like, no, they don't. They don't need to lower the ticket prices. $50 a ticket or whatever. This is a premier event. Monster Jam tickets are expensive too. It's a premier event. What does the NFL charge? $70, $80, $90, $100? Well, we could be in that region. This is not some local show. It can be right in that neighborhood, right? Plus, then the NFL, you're going to spend $30 to park at Hard Rock Stadium. If you're at Jerry Jones World, I hear you spend $100 to park. So parking is expensive. So both of these realities are true at the same time. Number one, the rent is too damn high. It is very expensive for the average person. And two, no, they should not lower the ticket prices because they're getting a really good crowd, period. And then you add the concessions on top of it. Like there's the area where I think maybe they could give the people a little bit of a break, because, the beers are $14, right? And Vlad showed up, and so that we were getting them together. That's who I was drinking beer with, for those of you who want a period on the end of that story. It was not Gray. Although I did scare the lady at the beer stand. I was like, here you go, Gray. And she's like, what? She knew I was kidding immediately. But anyway, I had a good time at Monster Jam. I watched the show critically, and I felt like, this is a good show. But the show that is NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing, in my opinion, is a million times better. A million times better. And well worth every dime to go out and see it.
Do it. Do it now.
Yeah. Well, and we'll have a packed house here at Brainerd. But that's the thing. If you're doing a mainstream sport, you're doing like a major league sport, the ticket prices are what they are. That's it. And if you have 4 kids or 6 kids or 8 kids, and the wife, if she can make it to the race after being that tired, then I don't know what to say. You got 8 kids. And
dude, if you got 8 kids, that's on you, man. All right?
12 and under are free at a lot of these tracks. I think 12 and under free at all of our events.
Yes, I believe at your events and a lot of events now, like the Truck Series and so forth.
So that's a deal. You could get 10 people in for the price of 2 adults, you and your 8 kids. I don't know. I think that's too much.
I've never met anyone with 8 kids. Oh, well, actually, that's incorrect, but no one in our age group and people I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 8 is a lot. I just made that number up.
My mom is one of 8, and that's why I quickly shut up, because I have met my grandmother, which she's no longer around. But but then I realized, I was like, oh crap, my mom is one of 8. But to be fair, my grandmother, who would have been 90, whatever, she's long gone dead. They didn't have cable TV or satellite back in the day.
Right. But man, that's something else. To deliver 8 children, that means you're tough. Like, forget all the other discussion points, just like personal strength and stamina. If you can do that, you're a very strong person.
Dude, that's basically 8 years of your life that you spent lugging a bread in the oven, pretty much.
Absolutely. 8 years over various times. So, yeah, that's challenging. That's the old world, though, man. That's how it was back in the day. Now people aren't even having kids anymore. Like, look at me. Like, I'm not carrying any kids. But then again, I wouldn't anyway. Let's move on. Formula One still at their summer break, which I think is good and interesting, in that they're not even allowed to work and their emails are restricted. And I think that is pretty cool, that they are all locked down. The Haas F1 report is that Haas's Twitter feed is still, working hard. It's
still active. They've been posting pictures and stuff.
Yeah, they got to keep going. They got to keep the Twitter fans engaged.
Well, of course. Just because they took a 3 or 4 week vacation doesn't mean that people aren't interested in what's going on.
Apparently, McLaren, you may recall last year I was mistaken when I said McLaren was going to head to IndyCar. Now McLaren is going to head to IndyCar full time.
Well, you just called it a year early is what happened.
That's what I did. I made the prediction. Or maybe they listened to WFO and they said, that is a brilliant idea. Let's just do it. And they just did it. So it is kind of interesting to see that. McLaren is, the sting of not making the Indy 500 has caused them to want to be more involved, which I think is interesting and cool. So we'll just have to see how that all turns out. But welcome McLaren to IndyCar, and it is exciting that they are going to be involved.
I kind of dig it. I mean, maybe, we'll see Alonso trying for Indy repeatedly in a McLaren car.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that you definitely want to give him the opportunity to keep trying to get that Triple Crown, at very least. So let's see what else. obviously we're going to have the Sports Collision. Did I tell everybody that I saw Avengers Endgame? Yeah, I saw it. That was last week. I told everybody that I saw it, and I'm up to speed, and that's that. Got a couple of cool things out there on the social media going on right now, too, NHRA's stuff. But we do a show called Attention in the Pits. We did a show with, it's 5 minutes, it's on Facebook and Instagram and all these different places. But a gentleman named Doug Gray, 77 years old. He's got a 1940 Willys Roadster, and people are loving the guy. Like, sometimes people are just like thumbs up. They think it's cool. This one, everyone is pretty much loving. They love the fact that he built this car himself, and he's a 77-year-old dude out there still racing. And the Matt Hartford building transmission piece, which is 40 minutes long.
Hey, I saw that.
You saw none of it.
I saw it there. I did my job. I retweeted it. I sent it out there into the world. I had not even tweeted or retweeted anything in ages, and I felt the need when I started watching. I'm like, you know what? I'm sure everybody that I know might have already seen this, but I'm just going to put this out there because that's how I am. I kind of like promoting your crap.
Thank you very much. Well, that piece was very challenging. And, we
had just discussed it, too. So,
and you throw him into the situation where he's got to build a transmission on camera where, mistakes are going to happen. And it's just about avoiding embarrassment, right? And there were a couple of moments that were big embarrassment potential moments there. But as it turns out, made it through. It did take 40 minutes. But I felt like it was an entertaining 40 minutes. There was jokes, there was comedy, there was some funny editing. Check that out. That's on NHRA's Facebook page. This was a busy weekend this past weekend, in fact, is that you had Norwalk Night Under Fire. You had drag races all around the country. You had World Series of Pro Mod. You just had so many different things going on. This is it. This is the final throes of the summer. Here in Brainerd, people are ready to party, man. They're ready to tear down the zoo. It's going to be great. But that means winter is coming. It's right around the corner. And if you think about it, here we are, August. Not that August is almost over, but August, September, October, Black Friday. And here we are. Homestead Miami Speedway, Auto Club Finals, and we're doing those off-season shows about aliens. Did you see that, Bernie? Did you see that Bernie? I know we don't talk politics, but Bernie Sanders has said he's going to release all the information about the aliens. Now, I thought Trump said that, too.
I was just about to say, I could have swore Trump said that, so maybe there is no information on the aliens.
Right. But that's how you get me interested. I want to know what's up. Release it all. Let's hear all the information about the aliens. Oh, yes, they're living among us. And they have been for 50 years. And we just can't tell you who, but they're out there.
I got to tell you, I think those, what was it, the Storm Area 51 geniuses, I think they are living proof that we couldn't handle the truth.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to find over there, but...
Well, they're going to find themselves dead. That's what they're going to find.
Hey, we're coming in here. Poo, poo, poo. Oh, no. Yeah. All right, time for Sports Collision on this abbreviated edition of WFO Radio Ignition. Sports Collision, the New York Yankees, 81-41. But I just saw a story come
best
across...
record in the league.
I just saw a story come across the teletype that Brian Cashman was...
Oh, that happened a few days ago.
But now there's video of it?
Yeah, well, the video was released today. I have seen it. And I have the story. Let me see if I find it real quick so we could go over. But basically, his car was stolen a few weeks ago or a week ago or whenever it might have been.
Uh-huh.
And then it was recovered, and they gave it back to him, but apparently it wasn't taken off of the stolen list. And so as he was driving somewhere in Connecticut, he got pulled over. And, and like a buttload of cops swarmed him with guns drawn, and because they ran the tags and it was a stolen car. But everything, I guess once they saw the ID and Cashman comes out and he says, "I'm Brian Cashman, GM of the New York Yankees." By the way, I don't know if you saw the video, but the way he says it, it's like you could tell he enjoys saying that. It was one of those, "Brian Cashman, I'm general manager of the New York Yankees."
Really?
Yeah, I'll send you the video after.
No, I got it right here. I'm gonna watch it right now. I'm gonna watch it. I haven't seen it yet. I just got very concerned because sometimes people make mistakes and they shoot people.
Right. Well, but then Here
we go.
I'm not gonna get too political, but he's light complected. He probably wasn't gonna get shot. But they actually gave him a police escort to where he was going to the police station so that they could do whatever they needed to do in Connecticut with the stolen car report, and so they gave him a police escort to the station.
Oh, see, there we go. Can you hear this? Okay, here we go.
No, I cannot hear your computer.
Okay, quiet. Put your hands out the window. James, what's the status? We're right down the street. I want to see your hand from the outside, please. The incident occurred on August 9th. I love these body cams, man. There he is in his shorts. Look at him. He looks very familiar. He's the GM of the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
You look very familiar to me. GM of the New York Yankees. Yeah, I know.
Oh, is that? That's great. What a cool thing to say.
Yeah. I mean, like, what a title, right? Yeah, you look familiar. Yeah, that's because I'm the GM of the New York Yankees.
Notice he didn't say Yankees. He says the New York Yankees. That is great. But he's lucky. You're absolutely correct.
Speaking of in SportsCollision world, apparently the Ohio State University has tried to put a patent on the word "the."
I don't quite understand that. Like the Ohio State or the?
I didn't quite understand it. I took from the story that they were trying to trademark the. So that makes no sense. If they're trying to trademark the Ohio State, then by that, I think they have a legitimate argument for that. But they can't just trademark the word "the."
No, I don't think so either. I think they're gonna lose on that one.
Yeah, they're being mocked all over social media by other Big Ten schools like Michigan, among others.
Oh, I believe it. What else? SportsCollision. Entertain us.
SportsCollision. Well, Hard Knocks. I know you're not watching, but
that's not true.
Oh, you watched? That's excellent.
Well, I watched. Here's what happened. First of all, I watched last week's episode on Sunday night. And then I found out it comes out on Tuesdays.
Right.
So I saw the kid get cut from the reality show.
That was the first episode. Yes.
Oh, then all right. Then I saw the first episode.
Right. The second episode played last night.
Okay. So I have yet to see that, but I have got it on DVR and I've got a season pass and I'm ready to watch it. And I spoke with Cruz.
You can just watch it through the HBO app, whatever you want. You don't have to wait for the DVR anymore.
Yeah, but I would prefer watch it from my luxurious home.
Oh, no, well, I watch it from home. I just went to like the on demand.
But it's really good, man. Hard Knocks is really good.
I love it. I think John Gruden is, takeaways, is definitely made for the TV coach. And you could tell that he knows the cameras are on with his facial expressions and his grimacing and his errs. And, he's putting on a show the whole time. By the way, the Raiders as a team are actually pretty much made for this. They've got Incognito over there and Antonio Brown, who's a train wreck apparently.
Yeah. And, apparently Antonio Brown.
Well, in this week's episode, they showed his feet. He says, "You guys want to see this?" And he showed the feet. It looks like if he tried to walk on fire, you know what I'm talking about? Those fire walkers for like about 15 or 20 feet. Yes. Is exactly what it looks like. His feet are disgusting on the bottom. They're completely peeled, and it looks like if he had like two inches of blisters, and that's what it looks like dead dry skin, and it's kind of grotesque.
What's the story with those firewalkers? How do they do that?
I don't know. I think that's because they're Indian or something.
No, but I used to see it. Remember the show That's Incredible?
Yeah, John Davidson.
Right. I remember they used to do that.
Brent Tarkenton.
There's some sort of trick you got to like stomp down or something. But how do you do that, man? There's hot coals, and yet they walk on fire. There's got to be some sort of trick. It's a scam. It's just another scam we're being told in our lives. But I digress. Tell us about Antonio Brown.
No, I was just saying Antonio Brown. He's a bit of a head case, clearly. And I thought it was funny that he's at camp with his kids. He's the only one there at camp with his kids the first week. And he can't even perform in camp. And his kids are asking, where's Roethlisberger?
Oh, wow.
So
you don't realize that they're on a different team.
Right. It's black and gold and black and silver and black. There's not that much of a difference, I guess. But I'm enjoying the Hard Knocks. And let's see what else I wrote here about Hard Knocks. Yeah, the Antonio Brown drama, and Gruden is just made for the show.
Yeah, well, it's very cool. We'll see.
And
we'll see how they turn out.
In other sports collision news, segueing back to something we covered a couple of weeks ago where you and I's head were exploding, the Fortnite champion, the $3 million winner, apparently was online playing some other tournament and he won. And one of the losers...
Who, Bugga?
Bugga, there you go. Thank you. Bugga had his house swatted. And for those of you that don't know what that is, that's SWAT, as in SWAT team. And one of the sore losers apparently called in a fake emergency saying that they were him and they had killed his dad and that he was going crazy and locked up in the house and that they were going to have to come get him. And so the SWAT team actually showed up, but luckily there was no issues. They called the house and the dad answered and everything got cleared up pretty quickly. But that just goes to show you this generation of Tide Pod eaters, the kind of crap that's in their head.
Yeah. Poor Bugga. We got the Haas F1 report. We should have the Bugga report and just follow Bugga through his life and career from now on.
Yeah.
The kid's worth $1 million or 1.3 million. What was it?
$3 million.
$3 million.
He won $3 million, more than Tiger Woods, remember?
More than Tiger Woods. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's move on. Well, that's interesting. So what else? And Major League Baseball, we're not in the stretch run yet, but we're getting there.
Everybody's got about 40 games left, so that's roughly 25% of the season. So I would call it we're coming down the stretch. Most of the divisions are pretty much in hand. The only two that are still competitive are the Central in both leagues. Otherwise, everybody's got a pretty decent lead there. The wild card spots are still up for grabs, and that's where the races are. I guess baseball knew what they were doing when they made these wild cards.
Absolutely.
Because there's a bunch of teams that are in wild card contention that have zero chance of winning their divisions.
No, it was a very smart move to do that.
Absolutely. And the New York Yankees have a 10-game lead as of this morning. Let me double check and see what the standings are currently, because I know the Yankees won today. Oh, make that 11. Oh, no, 10 games. 10-game lead. Tampa lost today, and the Yankees won, so the Yankees have a 10-game lead. So that means if we go 500 the last 20 games, Tampa Bay would have to go 31-9 to beat us for the division. So I'm not going to say it's a lock, but it's in the bag.
Wow. Go Yanks.
Woo, I'm still a little concerned about Houston in the playoffs, but let's see what happens. I love the way this team plays. They are exciting, and if you consider none of the real big names are the ones that are having huge years, so this bodes well for the Yanks and hopefully the immediate future.
Yes. Well, we'll see. You just got to play the games, man. You got to play the games.
And go ahead.
No, go continue.
I was going to mention, other than that, NFL, the preseason started last week. It was, I didn't really watch much. These preseason games, there's not a lot to take from them. Starters don't really play much, if anything at all, maybe a series.
Yeah, but if you're a Miami Dolphin fan, you don't have a starter. And so,
well, they do. It's going to be Fitzpatrick. It looks like he's going to be the starter, but
I don't know, man. I thought that Rosen electrified the crowd.
Look, I got to think that Rosen should play. He should play every game. I don't see why they would take a chance with Fitzpatrick at all. Fitzpatrick is at least 35, maybe more. He's definitely on the end of his career. You just gave up a third and a fifth for this kid who was the 10th overall pick just a year ago. You got to find out if he could play. So what's the point of starting, the cagey veteran on a team that kind of sucks and you don't expect to do well? I mean, I guess maybe for the optics of it, that you have a new coach who's saying that everyone has to compete for their job. And I guess if you give this kid, the quarterback, the job, even though he's not the one, then maybe that doesn't look good to, with the team and the new coach. But I don't see how Rosen can't be in there at the latest week 4 or 5, no matter what Fitzpatrick is doing.
Well, we'll see. Certain enough. What about the Canes?
But
you guys were not happy with the Canes quarterback.
Well, I did not say that at all. I'm actually quite happy. I don't, how can you be unhappy? What do we know? They have closed practices, so anybody that's unhappy has no idea what they're talking about.
Well,
but they made a decision. They went with Jaron Williams, and he's a redshirt freshman. And I thought last year I saw him play a little bit, and I was hoping they would give him a shot, which is what I was arguing with the guys. And Kosi Perry, who is the incumbent, not incumbent because he didn't start last year, but he did. He played last year, but we know what we got with him, and we saw him. And the same things that were going on with him last year is the same stuff that they talked about coming out of camp this year, that he doesn't really know the playbook so well, that he seems a little immature. He had off-field issues. So he was given every opportunity to be the starter last year, and, he didn't take the job. And they went with Rozier, remember? And
yes.
You saw how that turned out, and it turned out to be the end of Mark Richt era. And so that's why I pretty much thought that it would be either Williams or the transfer kid Martell. And, because you can't go with Perry because you know what you got there. And so I'm not disappointed in the Hurricanes quarterback situation. Let's see what happens. They got a game coming up on the 24th. They're calling it Week 0. It's the first game of the college football season against the Gators in Orlando.
Week 0.
Right, because officially the following week is the first week of the season.
Wow. That's
and so this is like the first off game. It's the equivalent of the Hall of Fame game that they played 2 weeks ago, and then the preseason started last week.
Right. That's like Man in the High Castle, year 0.
I guess
I
wouldn't know.
Erase, well, you wouldn't, but they try to erase history and start out at year 0 and restart everything. Well, that's very interesting. I've got a couple of, just fun and interesting stories.
All right, well, let me finish my football stuff because I had this one here ready from last week.
Break it down.
I heard on the local sports radio someone throwing out there that if you're wagering on these preseason games, you have to be some kind of degenerate. And I just wanted to put out there that I totally disagree with that. But if you are going to bet on these preseason games, you have to be smart and bet on the coaches. Look up the records. I'm not going to give you any examples, but there are actual coaches who want to win these preseason games, and you could tell by their record in preseason. And then there are other coaches that have no interest in winning the games and don't really care what happens. And so if you want to throw a little wager on these games, now that gambling is legal and you could do it in so many states, definitely look into the one-loss record of the coach. And that's where you could find a little bit of advantage and a little bit of a play. But coaching records, I don't think you're a degenerate if you play preseason. I think that anybody who wants to gamble for entertainment can go ahead and don't listen to people that are calling you degenerates.
Got it. No, that's good.
That was your tip of the week.
That's a good tip. There it is, the tip of the week. There it is, the tip of the week with Giovanni in Miami. All right, so as we bring it to a close, I just found a couple of interesting stories that I think were, silly and terrible and sad and good and funny, all at the same time. A man died Tuesday night after participating in a taco eating competition at a minor league baseball game.
I'm laughing and I'm sorry, but he literally ate himself to death, huh?
Ate himself. Dana Hutchins, 41. Team's on-site medical staff and paramedics immediately attended to Hutchins after he collapsed. He died shortly after being rushed to the hospital. We're not ruling the case cause of death, but we have the idea. We are devastated to learn that the fan that received medical attention following an event at Tuesday's game has passed away. said the Fresno Grizzlies president, Derek Franks. The Fresno Grizzlies extend our heartfelt prayers and condolences to the family of Mr. Hutchins. After safety and security of our fans is the highest priority, we'll work closely with authorities. Chuck Cassani Park is hosting the World Taco Eating Competition on Saturday, August 17th, during the team's annual Taco Truck Throwdown event. While the competition on Saturday is officially sanctioned by Major League Eating, an organization that organized professional eating competitions, the event last night was not. Ooh, dun, dun, dun. And so the guy's in an eating contest, and he ate too much, and he died.
He died?
He died. Exactly. That's pretty heavy stuff. And then there's this one that
that sucks, kind of. You know, like, who goes and expects to, I'll have some fun and stuff my face full of tacos, and next thing you know,
the key number is how many tacos? You know, was
absolutely.
it 4 tacos or was it 14 tacos?
Well, I can eat 4 tacos without, killing myself, I like to think. Unless you choke on it. I mean, it's the only thing. He must have choked on the food.
Oh, it can burst your insides. Back in the day on the Joe and Mark show, we had a hot dog eating contest to go along with the Nathan's hot dog eating contest for 4th of July. And we were all geeked up like we were going to do it. We're going to eat these hot dogs. And I came in second with like 4.5 hot dogs in the time limit. And it was hard, man. It was hard. Like after a hot dog number 3, it's just like your body doesn't want anymore. And you keep going. So if this guy ate 5-6 tacos, maybe one of those taco shells poked the inside of his stomach and cut him open or something.
Who knows? Look, I'll give you one. Last week I was home alone. Was it last week or the week before? I don't remember now. But on one of those nights that I came and I definitely didn't feel like cooking any dinner, I went over to the supermarket and picked up one of those rotisserie chickens, and I ate the whole damn thing.
Oh my God! You ate
the whole. Now, no sides, no veggies, no bread, no fries, no nothing. Just one whole rotisserie chicken, 2 legs, 2 wings, 2 breasts, and the thighs. Whole thing, just left bones in a plastic container.
No wonder you're so fat.
Actually, I've slimmed down. I'm down to 210 at 208. 208, 212 in that neighborhood.
But the fatometer is at 200 with you. And the fatometer is at 170 with me, and I am huge also. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. Remember when Billy Glidden called me fat and I got all
he did.
And I got all skinny and I worked out? But then somewhere along the lines, man, this year traveling, I just gained it all back. And here I am now sitting at like 175, giant fat person, disgusting fat body. And it is gross, but I'm back on the plan again. It's just terrible. Like, I like to eat so much.
Come on. Nobody likes to eat more than I do.
I don't know.
I found a way to get to reverse the process. That day I got on there and it hit, I saw 225. I just got off. I didn't even wait to see if it was going to adjust any higher. I could sell it. It went right past 220. It went to 23, 24, 25. I was like, whoa, let me get off this thing. And so I immediately cut back on the adult beverages, which is, the number one thing.
Yeah.
And I did that. And
things that make you fat.
Right.
Alcohol.
I have the numbers thing. If the average adult's supposed to eat 2,000 calories a day, and that's just, normal, I figured I must have been eating about 2,500. But nonetheless, I just figure if I take away 10%, and if I eat 1,800, then I'm not going to starve myself and I'll just, slowly lose, like a pound a week or whatever.
Yeah.
And so here I am. I'm down to 210. I have done 0 exercise, though. And I know that if I actually got off my ass and did some exercise, I would drop some pounds. But that's not going to happen. So I'm just going to try to do it by not gorging, not eating the Ben & Jerry's at 11 o'clock at night, because I found out that the pint is not 1 serving. And I cut back on the adult beverages to just maybe once or twice a week instead of every day.
Well, that's very smart. I just need to exercise. For me, it's like I don't eat that unhealthy at all. I don't drink that many adult beverages. You know, every once in a while, wine binging, but that's it. It's really about sedentary life for me. Like, I move around a lot on the weekends, and during the week I don't move around. And you got to exercise, man. That's what it is. You got to exercise. You got to get your heart beating. You got to start sweating. You got to move. If you do that every day, you will be healthy. If you do not, you will not be healthy. It is as simple as that. All right, here's the story.
Look at it this way. How many fat old people do you see around? And I mean fat, like obese.
None.
Very little, very few. You rarely see like an 80-pound, 250-pound, or 300-pound guy. They just don't make it to be that old. So if you want to live longer, you got to drop some pounds.
That's it. You got to be lean. That's what Dr. Phil Surface said. You got to be lean. You got to be lean. What's good for your joints? Be lean. But anyway, here's a story I thought we would all enjoy before we get on out of here. Arrogant son pushes BMW given to him into river because he wanted a Jaguar.
Ay vey.
A young driver allegedly pushed into a river this BMW he got from his parents because he wanted a Jaguar. The man, known locally as Akash, is alleged to have pushed a brand new car after he got upset it was too small for him and his pals. Video shows the car sinking beneath the water. It had to be pulled out using a crane. Local says he jumped out of the vehicle just before it reached the deeper water, and onlookers helped him to safety. Police officials said the youth was arrogant and kept insisting that he be given a Jaguar as a BMW is a little too small for him and his friends inside. We would do a preliminary investigation, but it seems to be a personal matter. We would proceed according to the law. And I just think that that's kind of fun and funny. Now this kid's not in America. This kid's Indian. But I think it is pretty hysterical. Oh, yeah? You're going to get me this BMW piece of crap?
Well, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it.
I'll show you. I'm going to throw this thing in the lake. And he rolls it into a river or a lake.
Wowzers.
Yeah, I know. It was too good not to pass up. All right, you got anything else for us here? WFO Universe, you guys fired up about anything? Of course, the Chevrolet Performance U.S. Nationals coming up. I keep telling everyone there's something we're going to ask you to do, right? And it's going to be subscribe to a different podcast feed. Now, there's a reason for it, but I'm going to start telling you about it because when the time comes, we're going to need everybody to do it. And it's very sad that we have 75 reviews on our current WFO radio podcast feed. 75, which is great. You guys have done such a great job going all the way back. We're 10 years in the business. This podcast feed is great, but we're gonna do another feed, a secondary feed, and so we're gonna need you all to go on there, and we're gonna need everybody to write a wonderful review and subscribe and resubscribe and all that stuff. So be ready. We'll let you know when to do it.
Yeah, do it. Do it now. Subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe. 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars.
Don't tell them to unsubscribe.
Isn't that what all right. Don't unsubscribe.
Don't listen to Gio, folks. Just listen to me. Don't listen to Gio. Just listen to me.
What do you mean don't listen to Gio? What's wrong with
Gio? Just listen to me.
Now, here we go. Breaking news. Albert Pujols becomes the all-time hits leader for player born outside of the U.S. Oh, very good.
I didn't know he was even still playing.
He plays for the Angels.
Okay.
He's been there since he left St. Louis many years ago.
Okay. Yeah, no batting gloves. I just figured there's no way he's still around.
Yeah, no batting gloves. You're thinking Vladdy.
Yeah, that's right. No,
yeah.
Pujols.
Yeah, no. Pujols was was considered the best player in baseball before Mike Trout came along.
And then Mike Trout just took it over.
Yeah, Mike Trout. Too bad. There's something wrong with Mike Trout. I don't know why he wants to spend his whole career out there with the Angels and never win, but still love his baseball playing.
What are we going to do about this guy, Tom Colgan? What are we going to do about him? What do we do?
Huh?
What do we do about this Facebook guy who keeps writing about
Oh, that guy. I don't know, man. He's an asshole.
Okay, Gio. You don't have to attack him right so
sorry,
direct.
dude, but he just posts the same thing on every post over and over and over, dude. Enough. Get over it.
It's so true. He is one of our Facebook followers, and he posts on every one of our posts why NHRA ignores safer barriers. Except here's the thing. I've spent a lot of time with him on there, like messaging him, like, hey, man, here's the reason, and this is what they think, and the whole thing. And he just will not accept the information. And I'm like, but no, listen, there's a reason. And he refuses to understand. It's very crazy. And he just keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. I don't like to block people, but we might have to. So, hey, Giovanni, we got to end the show immediately because my laptop is about to die out. And you're going to lose me anyway.
All right.
It could happen at any second. So.
Oh, there it did. It couldn't happen at any second. It already did. So unless he comes back, that was Joe saying bye, folks. Oh, yeah, look, there's a poor network connection. It's trying to reconnect, except it's not going to reconnect to anything because Joe's computer has got no battery power. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it. Another episode of Ignition. We greatly appreciate you guys signing on. Once again, go buy something from one of our wonderful sponsors, Rodax, Frank Hawley, Magic Dry, Samtech, Hussey, Hankster Furs, and now Total Seal. Drag Racing Edge, EV3, so forth and so forth. Everyone, enjoy the races, and we'll catch up with you guys next week.
The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
Bye.